This is big.
This is big.
The big show. So big.
The Big Show. Kiss 92.
Good morning, Singapore, and welcome to the biggest and best breakfast show in the world. We are The Big Show, and today we are so honored to have Senior Lieutenant Colonel Sam Liu with us. He is the Director for Engagement and Volunteer at the Engagement and Volunteer Office, or EVO, Nexus at the Ministry of Defense. A very good morning to you, Colonel Liu.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. You guys call him Colonel Liu, I'll call him Sam. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Angel. Thanks
Thank you
for having me on the program.
No, it's an honor for us to have you here this morning. So let's jump right into it because we want to get as much information out there as possible. You are here to talk about Exercise SG Ready.
Yes.
Tell us exactly what that is and why is it so important for us to know.
Well, Exercise SG Ready is our national exercise to get Singaporeans, whether you are individuals, households, businesses and communities, to be more ready for disruptions. And we want Singaporeans to plan for disruptions, prepare to respond, and play their part for Singapore.
Okay, now when you talk about disruptions, can you give us examples? What kind of disruptions are you referring to?
Well, there are various kinds of disruptions. For example, disruptions to water, disruptions to power. And we have been running the exercise for 3 years. So in previous years, we focused on water. Last year, we started looking at power. This year, we are going to focus on prolonged power outages as well as a focus on disruptions to digital connectivity.
Ooh, like the internet.
Well, digital connectivity.
Yeah, okay.
Now, Colonel Liu, on Sunday, the 1st of February at 3 p.m., a siren will sound.
Yes, that's right. So the public warning system siren, which we are quite familiar with, will sound on the 1st of February at 3 p.m. instead of the 15th of February. And we want to do that because we want to remind Singaporeans that we need to be ready for crises and disruptions at any time.
All right. So what do Singaporeans have to do when they hear the siren?
Well, this year, when you hear the siren, you can tune in to any radio station, such as Kiss 92 FM,
Preferably,
or any
yes.
free-to-air TV channels, or any digital channels, and you'll be able to hear a total defense message. So this year, we will have a total defense message after the sounding of the siren, and the message will be read by the Coordinating Minister for National Security, Minister Shamgun.
Oh, wow. Has this been done before, or is this the first time?
No, it's not been done before, so this is the first year we are doing it.
Oh, amazing.
Can you give us a sneak peek? No. What kind of message are we going to hear?
Well, and this is where I will ask all listeners, including you, Tim, to tune in on the 1st of February at 3 p.m.
to Kiss 92, of course. Okay, so when it comes to disruptions, you were talking about we focused on water before, we focused on, this year we'll be focusing on disruptions. Maybe once we go on the Big Show TV, you can find out about what kind of disruptions we're actually most vulnerable to right now.
All right, let's continue to talk to Colonel Liu on the Big Show TV. Meantime, here's Selena Gomez on Kiss 92.
Comes to everyday disruptions, what are the kind of disruptions Singaporeans are most vulnerable to?
I would say that there isn't one specific disruption that we are vulnerable to, and which is also the reason why over the last few years we are rotating through different kind of disruptions, be it disruptions of water to power, or this year digital connectivity. Yeah, there's no one specific one. And this year we wanted to also help people understand what to do when your apps or the internet service is no longer available.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, obviously, for those of us slightly older, not too old though, when we were growing up, obviously, when we think about things we need to be ready for, all those historical, traditional things, right? Power outage, water disruption, things like that. These days, obviously, we go into a digital world. But there are still many people are going, but still relatively new. This is a new environment we're in. What are the chances we're going to experience disruptions there? What would you say to them?
Well, if you look at the world, if you look at the world around us today, I think it would be very hard to say that something is an improbability, right? And things like disruptions. Again, if you look at the events around the world, global uncertainties, I think it would be very complacent of us as a nation to say that this will never ever happen. I think in the spirit of total defense, which is really about being prepared for any contingency, this is where it's really quite important for us to think about it and prepare for it. You probably don't want to scramble when an actual disruption happens. It's better for us to have actually thought through it. And I think this gives Singapore its competitive advantage because we think through things, we prepare for them, and we are ready to recover from them quickly.
All right. Now, let's get to know Colonel Liu a little bit more. Right now, before your appointment, I understand you were in the Army Information Center, where you were responsible for the Army's communication plans for key events and crises, such as the Terex incident as well. And you also previously the CEO of Division HQ National Service Battalion, one of the National Service Battalions from 2009 to 2015. So when you were appointed for this role, what first went through your mind?
Well, when I was appointed to this role, I thought it was a great privilege because I think it's really about how we can make a difference to Singapore. And especially in this office, we focus on getting Singapore more ready for disruptions, to educate Singaporeans on what's really important for us and how we prepare ourselves to meet evolving security threats. And I would say that's really very important. So it felt like it's a privilege, and it also felt like it's something really very, very important. You feel that you're part of something important.
Yeah. How long has Nexus been around?
Nexus has been around for a while. Well, the name Nexus was introduced in the early 2000s, so it's more than 2 decades.
Wow, been around for a while. Then you were talking about disruptions earlier, and the way we communicate these days is all through our devices, our computers. Everything is digital. No one remembers a phone number anymore. But in moments of disruption, let's say we still have our connectivity in terms of the data and internet and stuff like that. Misinformation will spread very quickly. And these days, oh my gosh, it's so hard to tell what's real, what's not, what's the truth, especially with AI that's come into play. So how will Exercise SG Ready help us filter what to trust and where to turn to?
Thank you, Angel. I think that's a great question. And what's really very important here is that through Exercise SG Ready, we want Singaporeans to remember to do 2 things when they encounter a crisis or disruption. First, refer to official channels of information, and you can get that on radio, digital channels, and free-to-air TV. Earlier we were talking about prolonged power outages, and the outages that we're looking at, for example, are like 12 to 24 hours. And in that kind of situation, when you don't have access to digital channels or TV, you could still turn to FM radio broadcasts, and you can get information there. And if not, you could also go to community nodes, such as community centers, because they will be equipped with FM radio broadcasts, and you can go there and listen in.
Okay,
That's why we are so important.
That's right.
Official radio stations. Okay.
Specifically.
Buy an FM radio.
Yeah, in this day and age, we can get information and entertainment from anywhere, but trust the
Information.
official channels.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want to talk once again. I mean, what Angel was just covering about, misinformation, when connectivity is disrupted. Most, I think, of the younger generation, when they think of, an internet disruption, it's like, how will I upload my TikTok? How will I post up on the Instagram? But there are way more, how should we say it? There are way more dangerous and bigger implications. What are those implications that we could face in times of disruption to connectivity?
Yeah, so maybe let's talk about this year's exercise scenario. So this year's exercise scenario is set against a backdrop of geopolitical uncertainties, and it's basically a major energy security crisis. And you imagine that if there was a major energy security crisis, households, businesses, communities would really be crippled by a prolonged power outage. Right? Now, as the prolonged power outage drags on, there will be progressive disruptions to digital connectivity. And as that happens, our ability to speak to each other actually is affected, right? Now, at a time of disruption like this, you also imagine that fake news and fake online content will come up from various kinds of
Okay,
sources.
hold on, Colonel Liu. Let's go back on air. You have to ask.
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the Central Expressway, also known as the CTE, heading towards the AYE, after Outram Road, avoid lane 2, an accident has been spotted. Also on the BKE towards the PIE, a broken down vehicle before the SLE. And speaking of the SLE, heading towards the BKE after Upper Thompson Road, causing quite a bit of backup to Lento Avenue. Avoid lane 1 because of another accident. Let us know if you spot anything. Our WhatsApp number is 8855 0920.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. We have been speaking to Senior Lieutenant Colonel Sam Liu, who is the Director at Nexus at the Ministry of Defense. Now, we established just now on The Big Show TV that there will be a public warning system siren on the 1st of February at 3 p.m., followed by a message by Minister K. Shanmugam. Now, 15th of February is Total Defense Day, actually. And we are having the siren on the 1st of February instead at 3 p.m. Tim, you were asking Colonel Liu a very important question.
That's right. Obviously, because of SG Ready, Exercise SG Ready, it's all about, getting Singaporeans, everyday Singaporeans, prepared for any potential disruptions, right? We were talking about, potential power outage, which could lead to further implications. It could lead to things like, connectivity problems. And you were just about to tell us what could happen in a point like that.
Yeah, so Tim, as I was saying, this year's exercise scenario is set against the backdrop of geopolitical uncertainties, and it's going to be a major energy security crisis. So you imagine that in a major energy security crisis, households, businesses, communities would be severely affected. Now, as the critical IT systems strain to operate in such conditions, digital connectivity will progressively get disrupted, right? And that will affect our ability to communicate with each other. And as I was saying just now, you imagine that in such a situation, there will be a flood of fake news from anonymous sources that seek to divide us and erode public trust. But I'm not done. So just imagine when the nation is distracted and divided, that would be the best opportunity for a bad actor to attack us, maybe even attack our public places. And so what you'll find is we could be in a situation where we are surrounded by threats in our physical, digital, and even social fronts.
Wow, okay.
And that's why we were saying that it's so important to turn to the official radio channels and TV channels as well, because there's so much out there. You know, and you're talking about fake news, it's everywhere.
Yeah, you can't tell what's real from fake nowadays, especially with AI. So we encourage you today, go out and buy a radio. One of those
Free to
radios,
air.
free to air. Either it runs by battery, because that would be great during a power outage, and I have spare batteries, or it runs on power. I've got one of those little ones where you got to tune, and they're a lot of fun.
With the antenna.
with the little wire antenna now. They don't no longer stick out. But get a free to air radio, so you're always kept in the loop on official information that's disseminated.
All right, let's continue to talk to Colonel Liu on The Big Show TV. It's 8:19.
Kiss 92 Time Check brought to you by...
Okay, so you mentioned earlier, Total Defense Day is actually 15th of February, but moving that warning siren to the 1st of February. So it's going to be Exercise SG Ready is running over 2 weeks instead of just 1 day. How do you think this is different in terms of all the other previous years?
Well, we have our planning consideration is to give households, businesses, and different kind of organizations sufficient time to run through their business continuity plans, right? And so we decided that we want to give everyone 2 weeks, because in that period of time, there's enough time for you to step through. And what are the things that we would like people to do? We would like people to take the time to plan for disruptions. And you can prepare to respond, run your tabletop drills, tabletop exercises, run your drills. And of course, at that time, familiarize everyone so that they know how to play their part. And if you give everyone 2 weeks, it's sufficient. And that's really what we want people to do. And we want to give more time to allow more people, more organizations to come on board and be more ready for disruptions.
Is there like a test after the 2 weeks?
Yeah.
We need to see if you're SG ready.
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
I think it's very timely that we are stepping up, getting Singaporeans ready for this.
Yeah.
Because I feel personally, based on my observation, that Singaporeans in general are very complacent, because we have it so good.
Yeah.
Especially the younger generation, right? Extremely complacent. And so we have to emphasize.
Yeah, I
that
don't even think
we are
like
ready.
many of
We
the
have
young
to be ready.
that many of the younger generation have even seen like a water exercise. You know what I mean? Which we grew up with.
Rationing water,
rationing, where they
yeah.
shut off the taps, and then
Yeah.
you got to go down, you got to collect your water
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the last time something like that even happened.
But not just that. It's just I feel like Singaporeans, especially the younger generation, they have it so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they in their minds, nothing will happen.
Everything is safe.
And that's
yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah. Now, Exercise SG Ready involves both the public as well as organizations. Okay. Can you tell us more about the importance of this synergy between organizations and the public, both to get involved and work together?
Well, for a start, we must think of and understand what total defense is. The concept of total defense is it is a whole of society approach to strengthening our readiness in all 6 pillars of total defense: military, civil, digital, economic, social, and psychological. And using that as a frame, that's why it's very important for everyone to come on board, whether you are households, whether you're businesses, community organizations, government agencies. We need to come together, get ourselves ready, because if you think about total defense, there's only total defense when we can get every sector involved, which is what we're trying to do.
Everything in totality, I guess.
Everything, yeah, absolutely.
I feel like now I want to buy a little notebook and write down all my phone numbers and buy a landline as well. But it's things like that, right? Because communication, it goes back to the basics, doesn't it? If your data and your internet falls short of working properly.
Yeah.
Right? Your FM radio, your landline and things like that. Yeah.
Well, so we do have SG Ready website where there are guides like the what to do guide when there's a disruption of digital connectivity, and what to do guide when there's a power outage, and members of the public can go to our site and download those guides and familiarize themselves.
And this is available throughout the year, right? I mean,
Yes.
obviously, we're talking about Exercise SG Ready right now.
That's right.
As it pertains and it's linked to total defense.
That's right.
But obviously, we should not only aim to be ready during this period of time.
That's right.
It should be throughout the entire year. So throughout the entire year as well, I mean, you mentioned that there are these sites that people can go to, they can refer to, but how can companies and, everyday individuals maintain that readiness and to always keep that in the forefront throughout the entire year?
Yeah, I think which is why we recommend for Singaporeans to plan for disruptions. And planning for disruptions don't just mean you do it during Total Defense Day or during Exercise SG Ready. You do need to periodically look at your continuity plans. So, for example, in this year's exercise, we have some organizations who are going to put their apps on maintenance mode for an hour. And during this time, these organizations will also take the opportunity to run through the steps and the processes for what they will need to do when such a situation happens. And we need to periodically update that, especially when you see that there are new threats Which is also the reason why, as part of Exercise SG Ready, there will be businesses, they will be taking part in a fishing exercise, because we also want people to test their readiness. I think testing readiness is a very important part of being prepared for disruptions.
Yeah, things have changed, and things are changing so very rapidly as the years go by. I mean, 3 years ago, SG Ready, the exercises and all that, and now this year, how different is it in your opinion? I mean, how much more ready are we today as compared to 3 years ago?
Well, I would share that these are anecdotal. I'll share some anecdotal data, and I've seen different organizations come to us and say that they want to take part next year. And I think that's a very important sign, because people see value in being ready for disruptions. And progressively, we have more and more of such partners and organizations coming on board. This year, we'll have more than 1,000 organizations, entities taking part in an exercise. Another thing that we also try to do is also to get Singaporeans to be ready for different kind of disruptions. So that's why the theme changes across the years. I think if you put these two things I've said together, that's our plan to strengthen Singapore's readiness for disruption. Get everyone, activate their thinking, get them to start thinking about what they want to do to prepare, step them through different kind of disruptions, and get more people to come on board.
Right.
And it's like arming us with contingency plans, isn't
That's
it?
right.
Because like just the other day, we're so dependent on all our apps and all that. I was trying to book Grab to come to work, but my banking app was under maintenance. And as such, because the banking app is under maintenance, the card is not going to work.
Yeah.
So it's little things like that.
And you don't carry cash.
No, exactly. So it's little things like that. What do I do if this no longer works, right? If you want to find out more, just go to totaldefense.gov.sg, and then there is a tab that says Exercise SG Ready, and you can find out more.
Okay. I have a question for you. I mean, obviously, SG Ready, talking about all the different types of disruptions, potential disruptions. And yes, there will always be the ones that crop up straight away. We think, like water, like maybe food supply, electricity, and now obviously in this day and age, connectivity. I want to ask you, what is a potential disruption that not a lot of people think about?
Well, I actually think that those four are already things that some people don't really think about. Right? Earlier, Tim, you were saying that it has been some time since we have had a water rationing exercise. And I think I would say that it's actually quite important to remind everybody that some of these essential supplies that we rely on for our daily lives, but we always need to think about what happens.
What if,
Yeah, and I think that's really quite important as well. And well, we also need to be on the lookout for evolving security threats, because those things will then impact how some of these supplies come to us. It could be disrupted by them.
I feel we take so many things for granted. Just the other day, you were like, oh my gosh, they're still fixing the lift, then I'm going to have to walk up this, right? And then one block will be like fixing their water pipes, and everyone is, I can't flush the toilet, I can't have a shower, I can't wash my hands, So I guess it's things like that. We turn on the tap, we expect water to be there. We turn on the lights or the heater or the air conditioning, we expect it to work. But this is just getting us ready for the what ifs. It doesn't. How are we going to clean ourselves? How are we going to eat?
Yeah, when I was talking about the younger generation just now, I was talking about the both of you.
Thank you.
right,
So
okay.
spoiled.
Wow,
When was the last time you took
Hello.
When was the last time you took a train again? Okay, but I think Glenn touched on a great word just now, and that word was complacent, because life has been so good, you know what I mean? And what Angel said as well, we've come to expect these things and take them for granted, that we never think about those what ifs. And we don't want to, or rather we do want to stress, this is not about fear mongering. This is about being prepared, right? Because, I mean, touch wood, you never know. There are already current dangers, current threats, potential threats. And as we go through time, new ones could crop up. I mean, environment, the world is changing so quickly nowadays.
Yeah, too true.
So Tim, if I can add on to that, maybe I would suggest that we think about something broader than preparedness. It's called resilience, because preparedness just means that you're prepared for a crisis, but resilience is not just about being prepared for a crisis. You plan for disruption, but you're prepared to respond. And being able to respond is very important, and more importantly, play your part, because resilience is not just about ourselves, but resilience is about being collective, standing united with each other in a crisis and disruption.
And going through it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Can you imagine how you guys would feel if there's a blackout? Remember blackouts?
Yeah, I have,
Blackouts are-
I have
Years ago?
candles and fans. So.
Blackouts are great. Angel don't have to wear makeup. Nobody will be able to see.
Gee, thanks.
Okay, traffic lady, let's go.
Those were your news headlines from the Straits Times. Read more at straitstimes.com.
From the 2000s to today, all the great songs in one place. This is Kiss 92. Kiss 92 traffic.
If you're heading down the PIE west towards Tuas, at Adam Road's entrance, look out for a broken down vehicle. Also, on the CTE towards the AYE, an accident has been spotted in lane 2 after Outram Road. On the BKE towards the PIE before the SLE, a vehicle having trouble there. Other than that, it's the usual peak hour traffic that you're used to. Let us know if you spot anything. 8855
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guests for this morning, and we've been speaking to him for the past half an hour, is Senior Lieutenant Colonel Sam Liu, who is the Director at Nexus at the Ministry of Defence. Once again, thank you so much, Colonel Liu, for coming in today. I think it's very, very important. You see, here on Kiss 92, we have 2 news bulletins during the hour, no?
Yes.
Because we always want to be SG ready.
Yes, yes.
I mean, there's always breaking news and all that.
This is true.
And speaking of SG Ready, this year on Sunday, the 1st of February at 3 p.m., listen out for the siren. Because, Colonel Liu, tell us a little bit more in closing.
Well, so on the 1st of February at 3 p.m., we'll be sounding the public warning system siren. And after the sounding of the siren, there will be a total defense message that will be read by the Coordinating Minister for National Security. So we'd like to encourage all listeners and all members of the public to tune in.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I really love the name of this exercise, and I feel like there are going to be many of those chants that we do in national service that will have to change. Because back when I was in Charlie Company at Nisun, right, our instructors will go, "Are you ready?" And we will go, "Ever ready." Now they got to go, "Are you ready?" SG ready.
He loved it so much, he named his son Charlie.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say.
Well, thank you so very much. I mean, speaking of Minister K. Shanmugam, maybe we should invite him to come on the show very soon as
Again?
well.
Yeah, he
because
was
I
here
missed him
once
the last time.
Yes.
I was on holiday.
Now, if you want to find out more about exercise SG Ready, all you have to do is go to totaldefense.gov.sg.
Thank you so much, Colonel Liu, for coming in. I know you're very busy.
Thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.